Mean, median, and mode are statistics that everyone should know. In fact, most of us are exposed to this in elementary school or in middle school, but maybe not exactly with Python. And in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how we can find these three statistics in a variety of methods. We're going to go through a manual way, coding out these, and then we're going to also use NumPy as well as statistics libraries to make it much easier. As an added bonus, we're also going to be taking a look at examples using a Pandas DataFrame, because I find it very helpful to find these statistics with DataFrames when doing some data exploration. And at the very end of the video, we're going to create functions with Args so we can find these three statistics with an unlimited amount of parameters. I think there's about 16 examples in total for today's video. And by the end of this video, you should be super familiar with how to find mean, median, and mode in a variety of ways. All right, let's start coding. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to import in a few things. So import NumPy as NP, import Pandas as PD, and then we're going to import statistics as ST. This will take a few seconds to run. I'm using Google Colab and I just started the session, so use whatever you want, but I like making the videos in Colab. All right, so let's make our list first, and we're going to start off with mean. So maybe I should label this mean over here. And what we're going to do over here is mean data, and we're going to set this equal to a list. Well, 12, 654, 332, 12, and then 444. Now, what I want to also do is build out a data frame. So I want to say mean df. We're going to say that's equal to pd.dataframe. So data frame like this. Then you have to pass in a dictionary. So what we're going to pass in is you have values over here. I'm going to colon, and then we're going to put in the mean data. Okay. So now we'll have that's built out. We're going to create some more cells. And just to show you what this looks like, I'll just print this out. We'll print our mean df, right? And it just says values like this, super, super basic. And let's take a look at our example one. So example one is we're going to calculate mean manually. And I'll be showing you quite a few different ways to calculate mean through Python, but I feel like it's appropriate to show you the manual way first. If you don't want to, awesome. But like, this is literally line of code. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the sum of the mean data, right? Which is this list over here. So we can sum the list with just sum, put that over here. And then we're going to divide it by the length. And then you can grab the length of a list, right? So again, just throw mean data in over here, right? And then we run that 290.8. And just to confirm it, we're going to check a few other methods. So the first method we're going to be using is NumPy. So example 2, NumPy. And NumPy tends to be one of my favorites to use because it's so simplistic. Statistics, in my opinion, is the best, but we'll use NumPy first. And all we have to do is say np.mean like this, and then throw in your mean data and check this out, 290.8. Now for example three, what we're going to be using is statistics, and check this out. So statistics is st.mean, and then it's mean data. Literally the same exact thing. We just changed the np to st and 290.8. So now what I want to do is I want to take a look at a data frame example. So what we're going to do on that side of things is we'll say example for mean, and we're going to use pandas. So here we go. Super basic. So what we're going to do first is data. Well, actually, let's look at our data frame. It was what? Mean df. My example code, I actually named it differently, but we'll have mean df over here. Then we'll put our values. I believe that's what I called it. Yep. Values, right? The column name. And then all we have to do is put over here dot mean like this. And that will find the mean for this column and 290.8. So just to reiterate, mean, right, is kind of like the average. So all we have to do is, if we do it manually, sum all of these data points in this list, we divide it by the length, right? And we get 290.8. Use NumPy and Statistics, .mean, and .mean also for pandas. It means the easiest out of the three. Now, let's take a look at median. Now, median has a little bit more work involved with it, but it's not too bad. The first thing I recommend doing is always sorting your numbers. So you can say sorted numbers over here, and you just put sorted, and then let's put in our mean data. So mean data like this, okay? And just to show you that this is now sorted, you just go over here to sorted numbers, and you see 12, 12, 332, 444, and 654. So we know that is working. Okay, now what we need to have is like list length, or we can just put length. I'm just gonna say median length or something like that. We'll put median length, and we're gonna say that's equal to the length, and then just put your sorted numbers in over here. And you'll see the length is 5. Not that you guys don't trust me, but we'll put that over here, and we have 5. I guess you could count it pretty fast. So what we're gonna have to do with median, there's a few use cases for median. If you have an odd number, median's super easy, right? You grab the middle element. Otherwise, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to sum the two elements right next to each other in the middle and divide by 2. So because of that, we're gonna have to build out an if-else statement. So here's how we do. We're gonna start if, and we're gonna do the even number first. So we take this median length over here, and we're gonna do a module, and we're gonna say module 2, right? And we're gonna say equals, which is these two over here, and we're gonna say 0. And we're building out our if statement. So what we're gonna do on this side is find the middle. So middle equals, and what we're gonna grab for the middle is this median length, and we're gonna divide that by 2. Now, might be a little confusing why we're grabbing this middle for something that's even. I'll explain in a second. Here's how we do this. So we're gonna find our median. So we're gonna say that is gonna be equal to 2 numbers, and we're gonna divide it by 2 at the end. So how do we find those 2 numbers? Let's go and create a mock example. So let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So let's think about the indexes on this. We would want to grab 3 and 4. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. Again, with lists in Python, we start with 0, not 1. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we have to get the index of 2 and 3. Well, because we already have the middle, we're going to utilize this, right? The middle is the length. So if we have 6, we do 6 divided by 2. We already have 3. So I have 0, 1, 2, 3. So we need to grab this one and then grab the index minus 1. So that's what we're going to do. And all we need to have on here is we have the sorted numbers. So we're going to use sorted numbers twice. So we have sorted numbers, and inside over here, we're going to take this middle and we're going to say plus, and we're going to grab this all over again. And we're going to subtract 1. Okay. And again, right, this gives you that in this case, right, the number to the right, number to the left over here, we have to add them and divide it by 2. That's how you do this. Now we're going to go into the else side of things. So if it's an even, or if it's an odd, we'll be going to the else. So what we're going to do is we're going to say our median equals, and we're going to have these sorted numbers, right? So we're going to do sorted numbers over here, and we have to grab the index. We're going to have to grab the middle index. So the way we do that is we grab this median length, and then what you're going to see is something called floor division. So you have these 2 backward slashes like this, and we're going to divide that by 2. Now, here's how floor division works. So in this case, right, we have a length of 5. So 5 divided by 2 normally equals 2.5. But with floor division, if we do 5 divided by 2, we're going to get the answer being 2. It automatically runs down. So it doesn't even matter if it's like 2.999999. With floor division, that's going to be equal to 2. And for the median, right, the reason why we want 2, if we look into this over here, 0, 1, and 2. That's the middle. So that's why we are using that median over here. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And all I want to do is grab the median and 332. So let's check NumPy statistics really quick. So we're going to start off with a NumPy median, and this is example 6. So example 6 like this. And don't worry, I will be showing you an even number a little bit later in the video. We're going to turn these into functions and add an unlimited amount of parameters, but cover that a little bit later. those are more the advanced side. I want to show you some basic stuff first. So all we have to do is np.median like this, and then just throw in over here our data, which we have over here as sorted numbers. So you can throw that in over here and check this out, 332. But one thing I wanted to show is we can actually grab our mean data also. So if we wanted to grab our mean data, we are going to get the same exact results. I sorted it for what I built out over here. I recommend that you sort your data before you throw it in over here, but you will still get the correct results. Example 7 is going to be statistics. So example 7 is median statistics. Okay. And all we have to do is the same exact thing with ST. So we can just put ST over here. So ST median, right? 332. And let's just grab the same thing and confirm that this works over here. And 332. Now let's go through the pandas example. So we're going to say pandas DataFrame median. And all you have to do, super basic. We're just going to go back into our data that we created over here. And where's that at? I just called it mean df. My example code, I just called it data frame. So I'm just going to use mean df. And we're going to say mean df. We're going to grab values and you just grab the median. Technically, don't have to sort this one. Although I still technically recommend it, 332. So again, you could go the advanced route. If you go the advanced route, you're going to have if else. Otherwise, literally one line of code, median, whether you use NumPy or statistics. All right, and now the most difficult out of the three is going to be mode, which may surprise you guys a little bit, but the manual coding is a little bit tougher and NumPy can be a little bit weird. So first, we're going to have to bring in an import. So we're going to say from collections, import counter. Okay, and you'll see why we're going to be using a counter in a second. First thing we're going to do is create something called frequency, and we're going to say counter, and it doesn't matter what list we put in here, the mean or the median, it's going to give the same data. Order does not matter for mode, so we can just put in our mean data from earlier, okay, and that gives us our frequency. And just to show you what frequency turns out to be, we turn this list into a dictionary. So we have our counter over here, 12, 2, 654, 1, 3321, 1, and 444 being 1. And just to show you that this is accurate, right? We have 12 twice and everything else is once within that list. But now we have a dictionary over here. So what we need to find now is our maximum of values. So how we do this is we'll say max frequency. We're going to say that's equal to max. And we're going to have to grab this from our dictionary. So we're going to go frequency like this, dot values. And remember, our values are the second part, or we have our key value pair with the dictionary. So that's why we're grabbing values, right? And this should give us 2. And just to confirm that this gives us 2, look at that. We have 2 right over here. Now, what I'm going to do is use some comprehension to simplify some code. I'll show you the full code without comprehension. But the reason why I'm using comprehension, I just uploaded 2 comprehension videos, one on lists and one on dictionaries. So if you're not too familiar with that syntax, check out those videos. I think it's a good plug for that right over here. Again, I will show you another example without it. But we can just go over here and I'd say num for num, and then we're going to say frequency in freq.items. We're going to say if frequency equals max frequency. And this is going to build out a new list. This is an example of list comprehension by using dictionary. And you can see 12, right? So what this does is it looks for the frequency and frequent items. If that frequency is the max, and then it essentially gives you that number, which is 12. That's the quick way of explaining it. But with that being said, let's take a look at another example. So we're going to say example mode version 2. I think this is example 10. Which I can just put this over here. And here's how we're going to do this. So what we're going to say first is we're going to say frequency equals, and we're going to create a blank dictionary. We're going to use an example where we don't need this counter. So we have this blank dictionary over here. And we're going to say for num in mean data, right? And we're going to say if num in frequency, we're going to grab our num plus equals 1, else frequency num equals 1, right? So first encounter, it's going to equal 1. Every other time, we're going to plus equal 1, and we're going to build out a dictionary from that. So I just want to run that, okay? And then what we're going to do, I say max frequency equals, we're going to say max, and we're going to grab frequency.values, right? We have essentially the same thing over here, so we can just copy this code, right? And we have that now. And then if you just want to copy this code again, right? Get 12. So I want to show you one way that we can rewrite this without comprehension. So one more example without comprehension, if you don't know how to do that. So I showed you the example where we can just use counter. It saves a lot. I showed you an example where we don't use counter, but still use comprehension. And lastly, this is how you can rewrite it without comprehension. So we can say result equals, and we're going to have a result over here. And then we're going to say max frequency is still the same, right? We have this max over here. And then what we're going to say is for num and frequency in frequency.items. I'm just going to copy this and change it. So we're going to grab frequency.items. Okay. If frequency equals, and we're going to grab our max frequency, right, which we have above over there. I'm going to say result dot append, and we're going to grab this num over here, right? Num and frequency, key value, num frequency. So how this code works is we have a list that we have over here. Then we're going to grab our max frequency, which we're grabbing from the values of the dictionary. And then we're going to say for the num and frequency.items. .items allows you to grab everything from the dictionary. If frequency equals max frequency, we're going to append the result over here. And if we just go to results, yeah, 12. So you can see a lot more complicated than the median as well as our right, so now we're going to take a look at example 12, which is statistics. And this is why I like statistics better than NumPy. For these, at least, right? All I have to do is st.mode, throw in your mean data, right? You don't need to worry about bin counts. And 12 is the answer. And now we go to pandas, right? Because we built out our data frame. So example 13, pandas mode. So all you have to do is you go over here to mean df, grab our values, so values, then just do dot mode like that. And you see 0 and 12 over here. And if you want to move this into a list, all we have to do is copy a list, to list like that. And look, we have 12 just like everything else from earlier. So now this is a good segue into more advanced mean, median, and mode. So I wanted to include this because I just made a video on Args, and I think this would be a good way to practice that. So if you're watching my playlist that I have either on Python or beginner data science, I covered Args, which you can have pretty much unlimited amount of arguments in a function. And this is a way that we could do that with mean, median, and mode. So let's start off with mean. So mean example, which this is example, what, 14? And we're doing a ton of examples in this video. Hope you guys are enjoying that. But example 14 over here, we're going to see def. We're going to have mean calc like that. And we're going to grab in our args, so args. And then we're going to say total equals 0, count equals 0. We're going to say for arg in args. total equals total plus arg. I know I could simplify it, but that's all right. And we're going to say count, we'll simplify it here, count plus equals 1. And then we're going to return total divided by count, right? That's our mean calc. So then we're going to say mean calc, and let's put in some numbers. Let's say 1, 2, 3, which would be 6 divided by 3. This should be 2. 2. Awesome. And I'm going to change this out. We'll say 4 and 5 also. 4 and 5. That's going to be 9, 12, 14, 15. This should be 3. And that is 3. Now let's take a look at median. So median example 15. Say median example 15. So what we're going to say is def median calc. And we're going to grab args again. So args like that. And we're going to say sorted args. We're going to say equals sorted. And you're going to sort your args first. And then we're going to say our n, which is our length, is going to be equal to length of sorted args. So, oops, that was horrible. Did I copy that? Yes, I did. Awesome. And then we're going to essentially build out our if else again. So if n equals 0, return none, because there's nothing passed to the function, right? And then we're going to say elif n by 2. We're going to say that's 0 over there. We're going to get our middle equals n by 2 of our floor, right? Median equals, and then what we're going to do is have all of this fun stuff again, divide by 2. We're going to say sorted args, middle plus sorted args, middle minus 1. Okay, and then else, we're going to say median equals sorted args, and just grab our n. And let's try out a few cases of this. So let's start off with a basic one, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, and 3. We should have 2 as a result. And this does not work. I actually have an error somewhere. So need to find where this is at. Let me see if our 4 works. Let's just try 4. We should get 2.5. And that didn't return anything because I didn't return the median. So return median. Let's get that return median also. All right, so let me rerun that. We're going to debug this median calc. You can see this works at 2.5, but now this list index is out of range. Let me just see why we have that. So you have middle, grab the floor. So look at that. That's my mistake right over here. So I put n equals the length over here. I should be doing something else, right? And I got to fix that code from a little bit earlier as well. And maybe I'll make a timestamp of that too. But my mistake, right, is I have that over here. This really should be the middle element. I think this should be able to fix it. Because the middle in this case, right, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, floor it to 1. And let's go over here and fix that really quick. I guess I could have technically put middle here at the top, but then if you have 0 elements, 0 floor, that'd be 0. So we could just put that middle up here. I think that should work. Let's rerun this. So 2, does it still have 2.5? Sweet. And let me test some other stuff. Median calc is 3. Let's add some more over here. Should be 3.5. Sweet. So let me just fix that code up over here too. I apologize because I did not realize I made that mistake. Where are we at in the median? Oh, maybe I did have the correct one originally. Median length divided by 2. Yeah, actually this one works properly. It should, I believe. Let's just test that. Normally I would want to cut out errors, but I think it's appropriate for me to debug this for you guys really quick. And we're going to say sorted numbers equals, we're going to do the even one. That's the, or not even one, the odd one wasn't working. So, and I had the median length outside, right? Let me just double check this one. I did. All right. So we'll just check both of these real quick. Sorted numbers and median length. So median on this side of things is a 3. Let's add one more over here just to make sure this works, right? So 3 and 5 should be 4. And this one is out of bounds. My mistake on here is this middle, we should be doing floor division. And apparently I forgot to add that with my initial code. And you can see now that this works. We have 4.0. Let's go back over here. We'll do 135. Right. And we have 3. So make sure in your code you have that fixed. And I'll put a comment also that I fixed that later in the video, because you don't want to make that same mistake that I did. So that's fixed over here. And yeah, this next one should be good. Let me just delete this. I don't want you guys to have wrong code based off of that. So we tested this, right? 3, we get 2. 1, 2, 3, 5. We got 3, and then 3.5. So now I believe we're going to be working on the mode. So this is example 16, which is our final example in the video. So mode example 16, and let's build this out. So we're going to say DEF, we're going to have mode calc, we're going to grab our args. So args like this. And we're going to say, is we're going to create a frequency dictionary. So frequency dict equals, we're going to have that blank dictionary in the beginning. We're going to say for arg in args. And then inside over here, we're going to say this frequency dict like that. We're going to grab our arg, right? We're going to say that's equal to, grab our frequency over here, get. We're going to grab arg. We have a 0, which defaults to 0. There's nothing here. And then we're going to say +1, so it defaults to 1. Awesome. Then what we're going to have next, I'll grab our max. So max frequency. And we're going to say that's equal to max. And we're going to get our frequency dict over here, dot values. That's right. Again, I explained the key value pairs. So this grabs the right side of it. And again, with this over here, frequency get grabs the arg. If it's blank, it's 0, then it adds 1. So let's say example, this argument exists already. There's 1, right? Then it's going to add 1 and make it 2. Otherwise, you get 1 by default. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, I cover it in my arg video. Okay. Right, then we're going to grab our modes, and we're going to go back to comprehension. So we're going to say key for key and value in frequency items. This is a mixture of both of those videos, the dictionary and also the list comprehension. But we're going to say if value equals max frequency, like that. And we're going to say if length of modes equals length of args, return none. And that means that there's no specific mode. And also we're going to return modes if length of modes is greater than 1. Else we're going to have modes 0, which defaults to the only thing that was passed through. Okay. and let's test this out. So let's test out just putting in 5 first, right? That should be its own mode. And I didn't return anything greater than 1. So I actually filtered that out. Sorry, we should put 5, 5. And we return 5 on this side of things. Then let's expand this out. Let's see what happens if we have 5, 5, and 1, 1. You see it returns a list of 5 and 1. And let's just add in a bunch of numbers on one more example. We'll throw another 5. We'll grab... Man, this does not look too pretty. But you can see this returns 5. And yeah, I want to call it a video here. You guys learned quite a bit. Args makes these even better than what I showed a little bit above, because you can just literally pass in as many things as you want, as many parameters as you want, and get the answers with these functions. Hey, hope you guys enjoy this video and you learned something new. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel. These videos take a while to make, and also upload 2 to 3 videos every single week. Now, if you're trying to jump into data science or learn more about Python, I have videos down below in the description and a playlist right over here that you should check out.